Did you see the lady in the red dress? Did you see her head when she said, I don't even fool with her anyways, but she here, so we gonna do it anyways. The lady said, we're having this protest down at the church, and everybody knew about it and was supposed to come, but then nobody show up. So she's here. I don't even fool with her anyways, but we gonna do it anyways. Dump Trump. And she proceeds to say, dump Donald Trump. Donald Trump, the current sitting president of the United States of America. Welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It's your host with the most. A shutdown falls on the president's lack of leadership. I mean, problems start from the top and they have to get solved from the top. A shutdown means the president is weak. This is what Donald Trump said in 2013 under whose presidency? If you guessed it, leave your comment in the comment section below. He ragged and dragged that president all the way to the garbage can. And whatever good that president ever did was downplayed by Donald Trump ever since he took office. And it has been his goal to undo everything that that president has done. I'm sure you know what president I'm talking about by now. Anyways, this video right here, we're going to talk a little bit about the shutdown. So America is in a shutdown, and I don't know if a lot of people understand it, but let me tell you who's affected and what's to come. All right, so U.S. shutdown. It's scary. I don't know how long we'll last. That's what the headline of this one paper said. But here's the funny thing. The funny thing is the president has said he does not know how long this will last. This could go on indefinitely. Matter of fact, he said this could go on for days more, weeks, months, or even years. He is determined to get his way. People are asking what way, what's this about? Okay, Donald Trump wants a wall built, a wall to divide Mexico from the United States of America. He wants a solid wall that is very high and miles and miles and miles long, and he wants the U.S. citizens to pay for that wall. The Democratic Party, which he is not of, is refusing to side with him on how that wall should be paid for. So what he has done is he has forced the country into a shutdown until someone surrenders. Okay? In a nutshell, that's what's going on. Now, if you've traveled lately, been through an airport or anything, those TSA workers, those people that are responsible for our national security, those people are working without being paid. And I know someone might say, but damn, how could a good president want people to work without being paid? Well, if you voted for Donald Trump, you voted for this too, right? Despite no guarantee of pay, thousands of U.S. government workers are still required to go to work. Required. That means, I was asking Brains yesterday, required, does it mean that those who didn't show up will have a job? I'm starting to think not, because this is the first time I'm realizing that they are required to go to work. What job requires me to show up without requiring to pay me and expect you to be there? So, and this is America's longest ever government shutdown. A lot of people are going to say, please, we got a shutdown under Obama as well. It was very short and very quick. This is extensive. As America's longest ever government shutdown, federal workers face an uncertain financial future. About 800,000 U.S. federal staff are at home or working without pay during the political deadlock over funding for Mr. Trump's proposed border wall. While some workers are relying on yard sales, food banks, and loans to make ends meet, others have turned to crowdfunding like GoFundMe accounts, raising money through online donations. More than 1,500 crowdfunding campaigns have been set up on GoFundMe since the shutdown began. So these government workers are now relying on public assistance begging basically through the internet to help them to stay above water. A company spokesperson told CNN, raising more than $300,000 so far to keep them afloat. So who are the people that are tapping into these online GoFundMes? Here we have a story about one young lady whose name is Michelle. She's 26 years old. I have a picture of her here, and she did a face-to-face interview with BBC.com, but I'm not able to show you her face. So Michelle's been working 2 jobs before she became a security officer at the Atlanta airport last summer. With no family nearby, Michelle has become the sole provider of her mother. Her mother is a brain tumor survivor whose epilepsy and glaucoma has left her unable to work. Michelle said, "I thought that having a government job would provide me better opportunities and more security. It ended up being a total opposite. Despite the prospects of no pay, Michelle is still required to show up at work. So are all the other 57,000 employees of the Transportation Security Administration, or TSA. If you don't know who that is, you've not taken an airplane lately. Those are the people who tell you to take off your shoes, take your computer out the bag, put them in the baskets, and they do the scanning and all that. But with no savings, the commute to work is eating away at what little money she has had to pay bills and pay for medication for her mom that's keeping her mom in good health. Last week, she applied for food stamps because her savings are simply not there anymore. A food purchasing assistance program run by the U.S. government, food stamps. It's scary, she says. I don't know how long this is going to last, and I don't know how bad it'll get before it starts to get better again. But there has been some relief. In under a week, her crowdfunding or GoFundMe page has raised a little over $500. I feel very grateful, she says. It makes me feel hopeful that people are on our side. She hopes that along with raising money, her campaign will raise awareness of how the shutdown is affecting government workers more widely. A lot of us are in limbo, and it seems like it's just for a useless reason, she says. I am sure there are better ways of getting what they need without hurting so many families. I can't help but to think she wants to say, I'm sure there are better ways of the president getting what he needs without hurting so many families. Now, I must tell you that the majority of the people that are affected by this are people that were living paycheck to paycheck in the first place, or probably had about 1 month's worth of bills saved up in savings, which means if they were to tap into that 1 month worth of bills, as far as rent, mortgage, car notes, light bill, phone bill, gas, internet, all that, their savings would have been exhausted. Most of them probably had about 2 to 3 at the max. And those are the people, a regular working class family. If you tap into most middle class Americans and ask them how much money do you have in savings, emergency family funds, you will find out that it's enough to take them through rough times as a family for about 2 to 3 months, and that would exhaust all their savings. So anybody that has above that are usually people that are more financially secured, and they are not as bothered by this shutdown. So in short term, it is poor people that are paying the price either way you take it. Sad situation. Alright, so a lot of people are not aware still of the many ways that this shutdown, people are hearing shutdown. So let's start out with the people that are on food stamps or any kind of public assistance. Those people will be hurting. For those who depend on housing vouchers to pay their bills, those people could be facing eviction. For those people who depend on food vouchers to put food on the table, those people could be seeing no food on the table, which an increase in that, I'm thinking, might lead to an increase in crime. I might be wrong. So President Trump insists that the government will stay closed until he gets congressional funding for his proposed border wall. The shutdown began December 22nd. This has cut funding for about a quarter of the federal government, leaving 800,000 employees without pay. Here is some of the misery Washington's political gridlock is inflicting on the nation at large. Now, government federal employees, I'm thinking police officers, I'm thinking soldiers, I'm thinking along those lines as well. Government websites are insecure, so security certificates for dozens of official websites have not been renewed. Affected websites include the U.S. Department of Justice and the Court of Appeals and NASA. According to Internet Services website Netcraft, more than 80 security certificates used by .gov websites have expired and have not been renewed. The Coast Guard, around 8,500 Coast Guard civilian employees were offered a managing your finance during a furlough tip sheet. The tip sheet is more like a slap in the face. The suggestion on the tip sheet says, get lean. Get lean. They're not talking about going to the gym and dieting. They're talking about get lean. So with household budgets, including babysitting, selling furnitures or unwanted items around the house, monetizing their hobbies, that means if you like to cut grass and pick apples, find some way to get money from that. Picking up tutoring or having a garage sale. This is the Coast Guard. This is their tip sheet. In addition to pay, these employees are missing federal housing subsidies that helps to offset their expenses, coastal housing, according to Washington Post. Food safety fairs. The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has suspended all non-essential work, causing nationwide concerns over unsafe food as most inspections have stopped. Most inspections have stopped. So food is now entering the market at a countrywide level in the U.S. uninspected. FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb on Wednesday said that the agency was working to ensure high-risk facility checks would continue. He said that about 1/3 of the FDA's food inspections are considered high risk. 1/3. Looking at goods like cheese, fresh produce, and seafood. So it's not business as usual, he said, and we are not doing all the things we would do under normal circumstances. This is what he told NBC News. Airport security. Transportation Security Administration, or TSA, officers who oversee airport security have been calling in sick as they go without pay. CNN has reported, and I myself have seen the pileup at the airport. And now some officers are outright just quitting their job. Union officials says though TSA insists standards have not been compromised, flight traffic controllers are also feeling the effects of the shutdown, especially with record low numbers of fully certified staff to handle over 43,000 flights daily. Now, I don't want to make anyone paranoid, but being a flight control security officer, it means that you monitor the airway, the route in the sky. Basically, you are the one that keeps planes from crashing into each other in mid-flight. So if you have people like these that are falling asleep on a job because those who are willing to come to work are having to pull 48-hour shifts instead of a 12-hour shift or a 24-hour shift, which they do a lot of the times, then you could expect that somewhere along the line there might be some casualties there. This is very dangerous. The current shutdown is the longest since 1995. Parks struggle to stay open. Hurricane prep takes a hit. New York City funds to keep Statue of Liberty open. Without federal employees to keep national landmarks clean, cities have had to use their own funds. Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser has been using the district's local resources to keep the Capitol clean at the cost of $46,000 per week. In New York, Governor Andrew Cuomo has committed to paying $65,000 per day to ensure that the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island stays rubbish-free and open to tourists. Utah town has gone quiet. Science has been put on a setback, and the Smithsonians are shutting down. Native tribes are taking a hit. Farm finance has troubles. E-verifying is down. Prison guards are unhappy as inmates feast. The inmates know what's going on. They know about the shutdown, and they are laughing at us, says one prison chief to a newspaper. Sex assault victims may lose out because the organization that helps U.S. citizens overseas who have been victims of sexual assault and domestic violence says that it will have to close as of January 13th of 2019 if the government shutdown does not end. Well, today is the 20th and the government shutdown has not ended. Funds are almost out for federal courts. So we are looking at people are going to be spending longer time in jail to go see a judge, longer time for your appeal to come forward, and all this other stuff. In other words, everything is upside down and in a mess. Leave your comment in the comment section and tell me, is this all worth it? Is this all worth the wall? And should Donald Trump have his way? It's SouFLoTV, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hope this helped you to understand more about the impact of the shutdown and what it means. I'm out. Peace.
I don't even fool with her, but she here.